everybody, it's Bill Cecil again with your tip of the day. Hey, today's tip is location, location, location part 2. In location, location, location part 1, I talked about as a leader of the team where you should position yourself in the hallway and during assemblies. Today I want to talk about as being a leader of a team and where you need to position yourself in the classroom and where to position your team. This is very important. It can make a big difference. It's seating charts, so to speak. First off, let's talk about yourself as a leader of the team. I myself do not sit at my teacher's desk in the front of the room and make it a barricade between the students and myself, like many of my teachers did when I was growing up back in the old elementary days. No, what I do is I actually don't sit at my teacher's desk. I actually sit at a desk in the back of the room with the students, because sometimes I teach from that desk, and it's sort of like being the general out in the field with the soldiers. And I sit back there with them, because when I teach a lesson, all of a sudden the back of the room becomes the front of the room. And those kids that sometimes feel like they're always in the back, now they're in the front. They're sitting right next to me. Also, I tend to keep one of my kids that struggles the most right there within reach, next to me, so I can keep an eye on them so they don't become a distraction when I'm teaching. But many times I am still in front of the classroom, teaching from my Elmo or the smartboard. And so what I also do is I keep some of my tougher students up there near the Elmo or the smartboard, where again, they're within reach so that I can keep an eye on them. But I move around a lot in my room. The side of the room becomes the front of the room. The other side of the room becomes the front of the room. Wherever I am, I tend to force myself to move around so that at times, everybody feels like they're in the front of the room. There is no one set front of the room in my classroom. The second thing is with my students, I put them in strategic places. For example, by now you definitely have to have some leaders on your team that have emerged. Put them in each row or at each table. One leader per row or per table. And if they're in a row, put them in the middle of the row. If they're at a table, put them so that they're facing in towards the middle of the class, so they are good role models. Kids can see their leadership as they go through the day. Also, put strong students next to students that maybe struggle a little bit academically. This is great, so when you do partner readings or projects, you always have a strong student working with a student that isn't quite as strong, so it can help them and be a good mentor to them. Also, if you have kids that are sometimes a little bit maybe shy or timid, they sometimes maybe have a hard time socially getting along with other kids, maybe they're loners, you see it at recess, you see it at lunchtime, pair them up with somebody on your team that you know it goes the extra mile to make everybody feel included. In fact, you might even have a private conversation with them out in the hallway and say, hey, I'm going to sit you next to so-and-so, and I really want you to try to get them involved. Would you do that for me? Of course they're going to say yes, because they're a natural leader, and this is what they do. Pair those kids up, because it will help pull those shy kids out and make them feel more like a part of the team. These are little things we sometimes maybe forget to think about, but they can make a huge difference in your room. Remember, location, location, location. It can make a big difference in your room. It will pay off. Give it a shot. Hey, and remember, best year ever. You have the power to make it happen.